What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Simplify. Today we're going to have a discussion about your emotional state and how your emotions impact your financial decisions. This is a complicated topic, but I think it's really important right now. If you look around, things are in complete disarray. It's a very unusual time. Politically, we're very divided as a country. There are lots of other things happening around the world that are destabilizing, especially when it comes to the economy. And so often in these types of situations, our emotions can get the best of us. We don't necessarily understand what's going on, but it makes us feel a certain way when things happen. We see things that we don't like online. We see horrible things happening to people. We see natural disasters. We see the stock market fluctuate heavily from day to day. We see crypto assets soaring to the moon, making people millionaires overnight. But then we see the same thing in reverse when these assets plummet to the ground and those same people are now broke. It's hard to put all of these things together and feel comfortable about what we're doing with our financial lives. Today, I want to talk to you a bit about my strategy, how I manage my emotions when it comes to money, and why I think this is such an underappreciated but very important issue. Without a plan in place, we're really subject to the whim of our emotional state, and that's problematic if you hope to achieve financial independence. The lesson that I wish I knew more about when I was in my 20s is really that these emotional fluctuations are going to happen. They're going to happen for the rest of your life. There's really only one way to navigate these fluctuations, and that is to have a plan in place and to automate that plan, which effectively removes you and your emotions from the equation. You need to create systems that allow you to continue your financial journey without you having to think about from day to day what's happening external and outside of your realm of control. You cannot control your emotions for the most part, although you can learn to acknowledge them and work through them in different ways. And you certainly can't control any external circumstances that tend to drive your emotions. What you can control are the decisions you make when your emotions are not at play, when you're neutral, when you're able to think calmly and clearly about what your goals are and your objectives are. Now, the most obvious thing here is to learn how to automate your investments. It doesn't matter which investment track you choose, there are tools across the board that can help you. The most common example would be to dollar cost average into an index fund. Something like the S&P 500 or VTSAX is a very popular Vanguard all stock market index. These are tools that brokerage firms or brokerage accounts offer that allow you to blindly put money in at any interval you see as working with your life. Now, I dollar cost average into VTSAX every single week. I take a chunk of my income and without even thinking about it, without it even hitting the account, it's automatically invested. I don't think about timing the market. I don't think about where the market is at any point in time. I just let the automation work its magic. I know when I see a big dip in the market or a big blow up in the market that I'm inclined to make stupid decisions. Sometimes I want to buy the dip, and I think that there's definitely something to be said for putting additional money into the market when you see big downturns. But there's not necessarily that same case when things explode. You definitely don't want to be selling assets as they explode in value. My strategy instead is to do the dollar cost averaging, a very automated action, and then never think about it. I actually don't even sign into my account. I just let these transactions occur from week to week, and then I let them compound and grow over time Once a year, I'll likely jump into my account to see where things are, but I have a long-term vision. I have another 40, 50 years to go, and I'm not going to touch those accounts unless I have to. There's some sort of emergency. So that's the key way I manage my emotions around great fluctuations in the stock market. But there are other things that hit me from day to day that impact my decisions. Oftentimes can't buy a certain item if I know it goes on sale regularly. And so this can be really problematic because I waste time thinking about when the next sale might be. Instead, now when I know I need things, I just buy them. Whether they're on sale or not, I will buy an item unless it's a significantly large purchase and the savings are significant. I buy the item when I need the item. And I think in the long term, it always washes out. I'm getting things only that I need and instead not waiting for sales, which typically drive your emotional state around purchasing more items that you don't need versus fewer items. Marketers are very tuned in to human emotion. They create campaigns, they create sales that drive you to spend more. So if you think you're smart and you're timing sales and saving lots of money, you might be for one particular product, but you're usually being sucked in to buying more products that you may or may not need in the long run. My solution to this is simple. I buy what I want when I need the item, only making exceptions for large purchases which I know to go on sale at a certain frequency throughout the year. This same emotional lesson can be applied to purchasing a vehicle. Whether you're buying a new vehicle or a used vehicle, removing emotions from the equation is your best bet. If you go to a dealer and you have your heart set on a particular vehicle, the likelihood that you're sold into a vehicle that you don't need, you're upsold into all sorts of features that you don't need, is pretty good. If you go in instead with a very clear idea of what you need, you remove the emotions from the equation, and you're not going out and test driving the car with all of the extra features instead of the one that you set your goal out to buy, you'll be in much better shape. When I look back at my life and I look at the largest purchases that I've made, almost always around property, housing, but also vehicles, I've noticed a trend. Every time I've wanted to buy more than I can afford, especially when it comes to a home. There are lots of features and particular designs and neighborhoods and all sorts of considerations that make me think that I need more and more and more. A nicer home, nicer amenities, nicer location. If I don't go into that purchase with very clear boundaries established, my emotions can easily get the best of me. Even today, as rational as I think I am and as practiced as I am at buying only things that I need, I still find myself browsing home listings that are well above where I need to be looking in terms of my next home. And so instead, I create very specific parameters, financial parameters first. What can I afford? How much house can I actually buy? And then I go into that decision with a very clear and rational set of thoughts that drive my behavior. The moral of today's video is pretty simple. You will forever experience strong emotions around money. Even those who are wealthy beyond your dreams, are millionaires, are billionaires, they still experience all sorts of emotions around money, and those emotions still drive bad behaviors in the moment. In order to get some level of control around this, creating as much automation in your life as possible, which will allow you to remove your emotions from the decision, is best. In addition, having a very clear understanding of what your goals are when it comes to making financial decisions, whether you're buying a house or a car, articulating those goals in a very clear way, writing down what you're after, how much you want to spend, how much you can actually afford, and then calibrating all of that into your best case option, removing the emotional experience and going in, making a decision, and almost automating that is also your best bet. The tools that we have now around automation have increased tenfold over the last 10 years. They're exceptionally good right now. And so, to the extent possible, once you created a financial vision, remove your emotions from those decisions, create automation through systems that lead you from point A to point B, your ultimate goal, which is likely financial independence if you're watching this video. I hope you got some value out of today's discussion. If you did, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, put a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Have you incorporated automation into your life? How do you deal with your erratic emotions when it comes to big financial decisions? I'll look forward to seeing you in next week's video. Take care.